Hey moms, welcome to Wire Talk. So today we're going to be talking about parenting solo. Whether your husband travels, whether it's the husband is disengaged by choice, whether it's divorce or you're a single mom, there's all types and reasons of why sometimes we parent solo, and it makes it really hard on us as moms. So hopefully today I'm going to give you some tips on tools on how to get through this and how to do it well. So let's dive in. I can't wait.
Hey moms, and welcome to Wire Talk. We are so glad you're here with us this week. And this week we are talking about parenting with a spouse who frequently travels or is uninvolved by choice. Well, Mom, thankfully, this question doesn't affect me on the latter half, or you, of the uninvolved by choice.
Right.
But the frequently traveling husbands, that's definitely you.
Oh, 100%.
So, yeah, we have some long-time listeners here at Wire Talk, but some people, maybe this is their first time listening. So, can you kind of give the people who may not know a little snippet to what Dad did and why he traveled a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it is your first time to Wire Talk, welcome.
Yes.
We're so excited
Welcome.
You're here, and I hope you find enjoyment in this, and this is a big help for you in your mothering journey, because that's why we do Wire Talk. Okay, why was Greg traveling a lot? Greg is a pilot. So when we first got married, he was in the Navy, and of course, he was gone a lot in the Navy on deployments and things of that nature. And then he got a job outside of the Navy, being a pilot, flying for FedEx. He's flown for FedEx for 28 years. So really, our entire marriage, your dad has been gone every month throughout the month. With FedEx, he would fly 2 weeks out of the month every single month. And then in the Navy, he was gone all the time.
And there was one segment of just such pure wonderfulness.
Great time.
Where Dad was home all the time. Not.
No, we've never had that. He did have a knee surgery one time and he was home for 3 months.
No, I'm talking about when he was flying reserves and FedEx.
Yeah, there was a special time. That was 3 years of doing Navy. He was reserves, but it was really, anytime he wasn't flying for FedEx, he was flying in the Navy, and he was averaging 4 to 5 days a month home.
Yeah. So just a little picture.
And I had 3 littles, and then I had 4 littles.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah.
So I just wanted to really paint the picture.
Yeah, paint the picture. I know what I'm talking about.
You know what you're talking about with a parent or a husband who's not there.
Yeah.
So just gives you a lot of merit. A lot of merit.
A lot.
So
thank you, Emily, for painting that picture.
Yeah. Just in case you forgot, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So, and then also, side note, Dad will be in a new airplane by the time this
he'll be in training. Yeah. He's not going to be flying the MD-11 anymore. He's going to go toward the 777. So that's exciting. You know me, I'm the yellow. So I'm like, who wants a challenge? Like, let's just keep it fun. I know this airplane.
Dad's like, I got 5 more years.
I'm going to make it count. And I'm like, you got to go back to school for that. So I wouldn't do it. And he goes, no, I love the challenge. And I'm like, oh.
Okay.
The yellow's like, no, we don't need a challenge.
Well, speaking of challenge, some of these sweet moms have some challenging situations.
Listen, I think the whole month of November, these have been hard questions.
They have been very hard.
Whenever I was answering them, I emailed Katie and said, these are hard questions. She said, yeah, I told you to get ready. And I was like, well, but I'm glad we're answering the hard questions. Oh, I
totally think there's a need for them too. Yeah. So, and I just have to thank whoever sends these questions in.
Absolutely.
Because being a mom is hard, but you're not supposed to do it alone. And that's why she's here, is to help walk alongside you and encourage and equip you, because...
Well, you're here too, Emily.
Well, yes, I just read the questions.
Well,
I'm glad to be here and that I get to share this time with
your husband travels.
He does travel.
So you're
it's
here.
Very weird, but you never know. My husband's in the film industry, so it's not like Dad's scheduled.
Yeah.
It's like maybe he's going to be here, maybe he's not. I don't know.
Which honestly can be harder.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. And, for me, at least Greg would have a schedule.
Yeah.
But when you don't know, that makes it
I think
difficult.
something you told me one time was like, don't compare your situation to Kelsey's, which is my sister. And because, Kevin's a pilot too. And you said your situation is difficult because it's your situation.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so I don't have to diminish what's going on in my life. Because it's not exactly what it looks like in somebody else's.
That's right.
So, well, if you're listening out there, I hope you gain encouragement and some hope from today's episode. So let's get to the questions and just know we are hugging you and we love you and we're praying for you in
Air hug.
But big prayers. So
Let's jump in.
Question 1. I work full time. We have 4 kids, 7-year-old girl, twin 5-year-old girls, and a little boy who's 2.5. My husband travels for work at least 2 to 3 nights a week and sometimes weekends. My mom helps, but most of the daily grind is on me, especially the keeping up, the house, laundry, lunches, dinners, and the dreaded getting out the door in the morning, which is a whole nother conversation. I know your husband traveled a lot. I was hoping you could help me with my mindset. When he gets home, I expect him to be happy and 100% available for me and the kids, but obviously he's a man, and that's not quite the case. We have a good relationship, but most everything falls on me. I think what I need most is a mindset shift. Thank you for your advice and encouragement. I was trying not to say something with those words.
It was sort of difficult.
It was. Mindset shift.
Well, I just want to say to this mama, you are doing a wonderful job. And she says, I'm a rock star, but really and truly, she's the rock star. Mm-hmm. Because when I worked, I only worked part-time and she works full-time. Mm-hmm. So that's even harder. And she has twins. Hello. That's sort of difficult. So, but she's right. You do have to change your mindset. And I definitely remember getting to a point in my marriage and like, if I don't change my mindset, I'm going to continue going down a path that is not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for Greg. It's not going to be good for the family. And the reason I had a hard time with it, because I was so wrapped around the concept of this isn't fair.
Yeah.
This isn't fair that my job is so hard and I'm doing all this stuff and he's not. In my mind, he was joyriding all over the sky and having a great time and getting to go to these great cities all over the world and eat the best food and all that. And I was stuck at home, no offense, Emily, with 4 kids. And I just thought, this is horrible and woe is me and blah, blah, blah. And so, and I would always tell Greg when he came home, like, this is so hard. Like, what I'm doing is so hard and you just don't understand. And he looked at me one day and your dad said, Karen, I acknowledge that what you do is hard. But he said, what I do is hard too. I fly all during the night while all of y'all are sleeping. And I have to roll in the morning and then get engaged with the family instantly. And it's really hard. And I had never, and I don't know, I think at that point I was just like, that is hard.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, we can both have hard jobs. Mm-hmm. Greg can have a hard job and I can have a hard job. And we are not in competition. And I think that's where I was sort of getting tripped up, that my job is harder than your job. Mm-hmm. And I want you to tell me that my job is harder than your job. But it really doesn't matter if Greg acknowledges that my job is harder or not. It is hard.
Yeah.
And it can be hard, and Greg's job can be hard. We can both have hard jobs.
Yeah, it's allowed.
It's allowed. And I just had to quit looking at Greg and what all he was doing and glamorizing all that he was doing, because it didn't matter. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't flying to Paris.
Yeah.
I wasn't flying to Dubai. I wasn't going to Key West on a Navy thing and the best fighter pilot in squadron and all that kind of stuff. That wasn't my world. So I had to stay in my world. And my world was 4 small children. I was running the house. I had to get it all done. And so that's really when I started dialing up big time my walk with the Lord and just letting God know, like, hey, I don't have this today. Mm-hmm. I don't have the energy. I don't have the mindset. I need you to give me what I need and get through, and to have a loving attitude towards these children, because y'all were innocent in it all, right?
Yeah.
But it's easy to take it out on the kids. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, that's not right. That's not fair. Mm-hmm. So we have to just get in the mindset that it's not a competition, and his job can be hard and your job can be hard, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But that was how I changed my mindset.
Yeah. So what's a practical tip you can leave with this mom that she can help incorporate changing her mindset for the next week?
I would put your blinders on. We talk about that a lot in Birds on a Wire, the racehorse and wears the blinders. And I would not look over in your husband's lane.
Yeah.
I would stay in your lane. Your lane is not his lane. Stay in your lane.
Stay in it. That's good.
Yep.
In all areas of life, just put those on.
Put on those blinders.
Yeah. All right. Question 2. Hey there, Karen. My divorce was finalized 2 years ago, and my ex is largely uninvolved in our kids' lives. As they get older, they are 2 and 5 now, and start asking questions. What's the best way to explain his reasons for being uninvolved without hurting them further?
This is such a good question. This is such a good question on so many different levels.
The fact that this mom is being intentional about how to protect that sweet relationship too is
she's being proactive,
I know.
which I flippin' love.
she's hats off to you, Mama.
And
Hats off
because
to
you're
you.
being so proactive, I wanted to really give this answer some thought and not just say whatever. Not that I normally do that, but I reached out to a friend of mine that's a counselor that has been through a divorce. And I just said, hey, I need your help here because here's the question. I've never been through a divorce. I know you have, and I watched you walk through it, and you handled it really well. So what's your answer?
Okay.
So this is her answer. She said, I believe you need to join your child in their grief. Grief that their dad isn't around and not involved. This is a loss. Show empathy while resisting the urge to explain or fix the situation. How many times as moms do we feel like we have to fix it?
A lot.
And a lot of times we can't fix it. But reflect back their emotion. I just thought that was so good. Meet your child in their grief and loss.
Wow. I'm so thankful for counselors
Me too.
that they can see situations and give insight to things because
Absolutely.
I'm very thankful for them.
Because if I would have answered, I probably would have tried to tell her how to fix it.
Yeah.
And, we can't fix it for these children or this mom.
So what's one practical thing we can do to help her support her sweet kids this
I
week?
think you can be there for their dad without bashing their dad.
Okay.
I mean, be there for your child without bashing their dad. As they grow mature, they're going to start to see things for themselves and meet your child where they are. I saw my sister went through a divorce, and I saw her do this very well because he did, walk out and all that. And she never bashed him in front of those girls. And I just thought that's amazing because there was a lot she could have bashed him on, and she didn't. And I just thought, you know what? That really took a lot of strength and courage and love for him and not bash him in front of the girls.
Yeah. It takes a lot of Jesus too.
It does. It takes a lot of Jesus.
You have to push your flesh down.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So kudos to all those single mamas out there because it's hard. It's a hard road.
Question 3. My husband just received a promotion with the new schedule where he'll be gone Monday through Friday every week. I'm terrified of the adjustment. What are your tips or tricks for doing parenting mostly alone?
Well, my tips would be pulling out an old saying that I used to say, put on your big girl panties, and you just got to say, I've got to do this, and I'm going to do this. I would not get caught in the mindset of this is too hard for me to do. I would get in the Word, and I would just lean hard into the Lord and just say, I need you to give me what I need to get this done Monday through Friday, and I know through you I can do this. But this is just going to be a season in her life where she's going to have to just push through and remind yourself all the time, I can do hard things.
I think maybe it was MomCore, you shared a little bit of this where you became so desperate. I think that's what you said. You became so desperate. You're like, God, I need you to meet every need.
Yeah.
And you said, I became very needy to God.
Yeah.
And you became very close with him through that season.
And I spelled it out like I have to take Kelsey and Emily to school. I got to take Taylor to preschool. I got to get Abby fed and nursed. I got to put her down for a nap. There's not enough hours in the day. I got to clean the toilets. I got to do this. I got to do that. I mean, I would just didn't get to noon. I mean, it was just such a laundry list of things to do. And or places to be or what to say. And Kelsey's having problems with her friends at school, or you're having problems with something at, church or whatever. It was just like constantly. And I was just telling him every little thing. But what it did is it connected me to God in every aspect of my life. He wasn't just a Sunday morning thing anymore.
Right.
He was he turned into my best friend. You know how you call your best friend, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and this and this and this. I quit calling best friends to say that, and I started talking to him. Hey, Lord, this is what I got going on today. I got groceries to get. I got to put them up. What am I going to do with Abby when I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And I would just go through it. And then lo and behold, it was crazy. He started meeting me exactly. Like I had this friend and she'd be like, can I just stay at your house and watch Abby while you go to the grocery store?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. I mean, or it was just crazy. It was just like, I couldn't have written that stuff.
No, it was all God.
But it was all God. And I was like, to God be the glory, man. I'm going to start doing this
all right, let's go.
Every day. And he's like, thank you.
Yes. So what's one practical tip you can leave with this sweet mom?
Don't give in to the feeling of it is too hard that you can't do it.
Okay.
Don't give in to that.
No.
That's what the enemy wants you to do, and don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is our last question.
Oh, wow.
So question 4, how can I effectively co-parent with my ex when they are inconsistent or unwilling to cooperate in making important parenting decisions together, like discipline and their education?
Okay. Great question. So many of the times we play the what if game. What if their dad's not involved? In this case, he's not involved. What is it going to look like? How can I be consistent whenever he's not being consistent? All these things. But we have to realize that God is bigger than any problem. And this is a problem. I mean, of course, you want your spouse to be on the same page as you. That's what I teach all the time. Got to be united, but sometimes that doesn't happen. But you need to pray and tell God your situation, even though he knows it. You need to bring him in, involve him, and just say, you know what? This is not the circumstances that I wanted for my life, but yet this is where I am. But God, you're bigger than my circumstances. You're bigger than this problem. And you can fill in all these gaps where I can't. So God, I need you to be here and fill in the gaps where I can't. And just realize that God is a bigger God than your circumstances.
So what's a practical tip you can leave her with?
Pray. That simple.
Boom.
Boom. Drop the mic. Go home.
Yeah. Well, Mom, that was the last question.
Oh, that was fast.
But it was also the last podcast for November.
Ooh, yes.
And then it's also the last traditional podcast that me and you do for 2023. Yeah. That doesn't mean December's not happening. That just means
we have something special in store.
But it's just I had just completed my first year of Birds on the Wire podcast.
That's exciting.
And I've just loved it. It's been great.
Thank you. The moms have written in. They love having you. They love seeing you and I interact together.
Yes. Well, it's been fun.
So I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And you're not done with a full year because you didn't start till February.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I am not done.
You're done with the 2020.
I'm done with 2023.
I almost said 2022. That's bad.
Yeah. I honestly have thought this whole year has been 2024. So there you go.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And we still got a lot of time left in 2023. So, but mamas, thank you so much for reaching.
Wait. What's been your favorite part of being on the podcast?
Oh, that's a great question.
I'm just throwing it at her, guys. She didn't know that was coming.
I have learned so much in this podcast.
Really?
Yes.
Even though you're my daughter?
Yes. Because people ask questions that I don't even realize. Like, I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, and you were so serious.
And I was like, you're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I've never thought of it that way. And then I'm learning it. And then, but not only that, you did a marriage one with Dad.
Yeah.
About how, like, consistently going on dates with your husband. And literally, like, I texted Brian in the middle between podcast recordings. I was like, we're going on a date. Like, we need to make sure we need to make sure that's a priority. And I just think, like anything, if you are in something all the time, you're going to learn more. You're in the Bible, you're going to learn more about who God's character is.
Good point.
And I think with this, I'm learning that really all moms have different situations, but we're all struggling.
They're all the same.
And together, if we can encourage each other and point us back to the Lord, then we can get through it together.
Yeah.
And we're not alone.
No.
And that's what I think I've learned and I've loved. So
well, I've loved having you on here. It's been great. And y'all, this has been hard because Emily and I, when Sunny and I did it, it was just audio.
Yeah.
And now we have the cameras, and that's hard. We have to think about what to wear every single week.
I know.
And Emily's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "I don't know." She said she was going to go joggers, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm getting out my comfy outfit too." And you're like, "Is that going to look good?" Who knows? Who cares? Sometimes it comes out, and I'm like, "Wow, that looks really large on me. I don't need to wear that again." But you know what? You just have to roll with it. But Emily's done a phenomenal job.
Well,
she's been the tech with all of this, setting up the cameras, setting up the audio. I just sit here and wait for her to say go.
Yeah.
So you've been amazing.
It's been fun. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Em.
You're welcome. I love Birds on a Wire. I love it.
And I'll be back in December. We're going to have a 3-part series in December gearing up for Christmas.
Yes.
And I'm super excited. It's not written yet, but it's going to be.
It's going to be.
By December.
It's still October right now.
That's right.
We got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Please, please. So. All right. Do your outro. Sorry.
Oh, well, that was my outro. If you have any questions that you'd like to be on podcasts in 2024, send them to info@birdsonwiremoms.com and make sure you like and subscribe to whatever channel you're listening to so we can reach more moms. We love you, and I will see you in 2024, but you'll see here in December. See you guys.
Bye.